Guys, the prompt is the next thing. If you're not on, get on, okay?
Welcome back to the prompt, and today I have a special guest with me, Eric, the visionary boy. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. I'm good. So let's get started. When did you start your journey of doing visionary arts? You know, because I know you don't just do photography, but also filming.
Yeah. I started photography itself in 2018, I think. In 2018, yeah. That's when I started photography. Then videography, I started it. That was should be 2019. Yeah, I started doing it 2019.
Okay. So what exactly inspired, let's say, the photography first? Like, what was it about it that you know what? I think I can do this.
Okay, so um I'm a designer at heart, yeah, like designing clothes. So I was designing. Then I wanted to like brand myself, like brand my brand. So there's a friend of mine I had who I used to live with at that time. Then I'd use like him, but I'd give him like the concepts, like, yo, um, let's do the photos like this, like this, like this, like this. And I was like, I think I can do this on, you know what I mean? So that's when I got into like content creation. I was just like, let me just get myself a camera and then start doing it on my own.
Okay. So let's say, like, you know, since there are a lot of media companies and also individuals who are doing this, how do you set your value? You know, like, let's say pricing and saying that, look, when you go with me, it's worth the price and all that.
Okay, because for me, I feel like in Zambia, yeah, we really don't have a good like conceptual type of stuff, you know, when it comes to the treatment. I feel like with me, the treatments are different, you know, it's not your typical video or anything. So when you come to me, I can promise that the visuals will be different. Like they will be different. It'll look different from the usual, you know, it'll have some finesse to it. It'll have a creative touch, it'll have art in it, you know what I mean? So I usually challenge artists, like get them out of the comfort zone with my ideas and everything. So that's how I think I set myself apart from everybody else.
Okay. So I realized that, you know, from talking and also doing my own personal research, you're a man who's all about culture. So what culture are you trying to represent through your photos or maybe to the world, you know?
Yeah, because I feel like, okay, identity-wise in Zambia, I feel like we don't have a culture in Zambia, you know? Like what do you point at in Zambia and be like, if you go to another country, right?
Yeah.
What would people like based on culture, what do people say like, oh, that's so Zambian? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like with South Africa, for instance, for them, you just see like a kusheshe or something, or a bucket hat or something in their videos, and you're like, oh, that's essay time, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to like build culture and like let more of the cool kids shine in Zambia so that like people elsewhere can see that, oh, Zambia actually has cool kids. Because if you really pay attention to like the underground creative space in Zambia, it's really dope. Like, you know, the musicians, everything's just really dope. It just needs like a bigger scale and more content to be put out. Then people will actually realize that, oh, Zambia is, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So like, you know, I've seen you like hang out with people like Mix and also other use that as trying to make a name for themselves. Like what kind of like deals do you make? Do you say that okay, you pay me after this, or you pay as you go? Like how are some of the conversations like?
Yeah, with mix, for us, we started working like ish, I don't know, 3 years ago or something. So we would do projects where there's no money, you know what I mean? Like we'll do projects like, yo, let's put out content, let's shoot this, let's shoot dance videos, just put out content to help us be out there and everything. And then mix blow up, you know what I mean? So for him, he wants to put on like his homies and the people who are there when there was like no money, everything. So it's a straightforward thing, you know. He'll just be like, yo, what's your budget on this? Let's work on this. We're like, oh sharp, let me tell these guys. And it's just a smooth transition like that, man. It's easy working. Yeah.
So like what is your views on like let's say taking pictures on the phone and the camera, let's say for somebody who's not really a fanatic in that way, and then they're trying to figure things out, what would you tell them?
Okay, so for like phones don't really have that much dynamic range. I know maybe most people don't understand what I'm saying. They don't capture like, the detail of the details, and you're not like you can't play around with it as much as you can with the with the digital camera, the DSLR, because like a DSLR is made for pictures. Some people like saying, nah, why would I need a camera because I've got an iPhone or whatever. You cannot compare the two, like the magic you'd make on a DSLR is not the magic you can make with the phone, because when it comes to post production, you can do so much more. You have so much more options, the color grade, all that stuff.
Mhm. So another thing that I think a lot of people don't know about, and we should also bring to discussion, like a lot of people think that maybe you just take the photo and then post it, but then they're also after editing the stuff like that. They say Adobe Lightroom or Photoshop and stuff like that. So let's say for somebody who doesn't know, what would you tell them? Like, what is the specific use for those programs?
Okay, so a raw picture, like when you take a raw picture, it's basically um, it's raw, you know.
Mhm.
It's you haven't added your touch to it, because now when you edit a picture, that's how you tell the difference between photographers, right?
Mhm.
Because when you get into Lightroom or Photoshop or anything, that's where now you can show them your taste, your feel. You can play with the colors, you can play with the skin, the texture, all that. So that's why people book certain photographers also, because of the way they make them look, when
Mhm.
it's edited. Oh, is that me? And stuff like that. It doesn't come out raw. Like when you put it in the editing place now, that's where you just show off your skills and everything like that. That's where you polish up the picture, polish up the skin, give it that finesse. Yeah, just make it look good, man.
So, what have been some of the challenges that you have faced so far in your type of business? And what keeps you going? You know?
What keeps me going? What keeps me going is the dream, man. For me, I see myself um crossing borders, bro. Like making real art, like making stuff that will last forever, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going on, because I see myself going really, really, really far. And then most the challenges that I've gone through is um what can I say? Some of the ideas I have, um people don't some artists don't seem to like support the idea or be on board with the idea
Mhm.
100%. I don't too futuristic or anything like that, but they don't grasp it the way I do. So that has been some of the issues. Also, on outreach, like how to get some of the work out there and stuff like that, Yeah, I think those are some of the challenges that are the
So
industry.
when you reach such a conflict, do you compromise or what do you do, so that, because sometimes certain differences would make somebody not want to work with you again. But what exactly do you do to maintain a relationship even though you have different visions?
Okay, so first, number one, I tell them like, yo, there's a reason why they came to me, right? So I asked them like, what is really the goal for the video? Like, do you want the video to stand out or not? So I asked them like, just trust me 100%. But if not, if it doesn't go down that route, then I just have to incorporate
Mhm.
some of the stuff that they want in the video. And if they don't want to go with my idea fully, then we'll just have to incorporate the ideas together. Then, yeah, that's
Okay.
what happens.
So like let's say knowledge. Let's talk about knowledge, right? So did you go to class for this or did you teach yourself? And then if you taught yourself, what are some of the ways that you do?
Nah, I taught myself, self-taught, man. I'm still learning. I'm still a baby, still really taking in information. So, yo, the internet is for everybody. We're blessed in an era like where we have the internet for free. Like you can find endless information on the internet. Like anybody can become good. But what you need to do is when you're on the internet and seeing these things, you need to practice
Mhm.
the information taking in because you can be caught up in a trap where you just watch a bunch of videos but you never really do what you're watching. So you're not learning anything. So like when you take in the information, you go out there and you try it out. And if you do that every day, trust me, you'll be like one of the best in the game. That's something I'm actually also working on practicing more, but I don't really practice these days, but I need to start practicing more than polish up everything and then start gunning for the work.
So let's say, what are some of the misconceptions about, like, let's say, type of camera and also a lens? Because we know that maybe a lens can be to focus, but then there are also 4K cameras and all that. So what would you say in that aspect?
Okay, yeah, because these days everybody wants to shoot like on 4K and stuff like that, right?
Mm.
But a big misconception is the better camera you have, the better results you get. That's a very big misconception because there's even a video online where you give an amateur a 4K camera
Mm.
or a red or whatever, you give a professional a DSLR, and they prove that the professional got the best out of the DSLR compared to the person who's using the red because there's so many things that you have to like put in. There's lighting, there's all that stuff. There's concept. For me, concept is key, and lighting is key as well. So you don't just gun for the biggest camera and think you'll be the best out there. Now, I've seen a lot of people who use big cameras, but they're not getting what they're supposed to get out of it. So that's a very big misconception. It's about the knowledge. You need to know what you're doing and you can make magic with it. Even a small camera, like the smallest camera, you can make magic as long as you know what you're doing. So yeah, don't rush to buy one of these big cameras, or maybe you think, nah, if I don't own this camera, I can't start creating. You can start creating with your phone. I've seen a lot of dope stuff also with phones.
Mhm.
Videographers make things with their phones. It's just about doing it. It's just about getting the knowledge and just start where you are and then move up from there, man.
Okay. So, let's say when it comes to the camera for a phone, right, it takes care of certain things when taking a picture. Now, when you look at the camera, right, there's ISO, aperture, and shutter speed, right? So, for somebody who are like, what are these words? What would you say? Like each one does.
Okay, so your ISO controls your light, like it lets in more light. That's what the ISO controls. Also your shutter speed. Your
Mm.
shutter speed also controls light, but it also controls the speed of the shutter, like the, like,
Yeah.
that,
Mhm.
that's like the. So it also it controls how fast and how slow the shutter will close. Shutter also lets in light, so that's how it also controls light. Then what else did you say? The shutter speed, ISO.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot, there's a lot that I can talk about, but you just have to ask me those questions.
Okay, how about the aperture? The aperture.
Oh yeah, the aperture. The aperture is also based on light as well.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's talk about camera modes. Because like let's say when I got a camera, right? I was like, you know what? I don't wanna shoot in auto and stuff like that. So I went to manual and stuff like that. And it was quite difficult, and I haven't really got it. But let's just say, let's say, what camera mode would you suggest? Let's say if at a sporting event or at a concert, stuff like that. What would you suggest?
Okay, so it's more of learning your camera. You need to learn your camera for like to use manual, because when you use manual, you have control over everything. That's where your ISO, your aperture, your shutter speed comes in, because you're talking about sports also. So if you're doing sport, you have to like shutter speed so you can get the person running without any motion. So when you use automatic sometimes it's unreliable, because there's so much settings you need to get your perfect picture. So the reason why you didn't know what was happening with manual was because you didn't really, you didn't study the camera and study the modes and all the aperture and all that stuff. So you need to learn how to use that stuff. But for automatic, you can use it, when you're starting out. So when you just these pictures of your friends, family, you're starting out, you're getting to know the camera. Like I wouldn't really recommend using automatic, like if you're doing an event or something sporty or something. You won't predict, like you won't know like what's coming, you won't get what you really want, you're using auto. So manual, you just need to study the camera, then you'll know everything to do. Yeah. I don't want it. So you need to expose for something. You need to expose for something, like either expose for, it depends what's dark, like your subject, right? It's either you're exposing for your subject or you're exposing for something else. So if